Imagine living a lie so big it changes who you are, a lie that steals someone else's life. For Frédéric Bourdin, this was reality. He pretended to be someone else for years, even claiming to be a family's long-lost son. They believed him. The police believed him. The world almost believed him. This is the story of a great deception, a family's hope so strong it blinded them to the truth. Bourdin, known as the Chameleon, could change his identity at will. He became Nicholas Barclay, a boy who had vanished without a trace. Bourdin stepped into Nicholas's life, felt his family's love, but it was all built on lies. This story shows how far someone will go to belong, even if it means stealing another's place. We think we can spot a liar, but this case proves how wrong we can be. A good story told with confidence can be more powerful than the truth. It challenges our ideas about identity. Are we just the stories we tell? This is one of the most bizarre impersonation cases in history. It will make you question everything you know about truth and lies. Get ready to meet the man who fooled the world. The chameleon's deception wasn't just about tricking others. It was about finding a place to belong. How did a French man become a Texan boy? How did he fool experts and loved ones? This journey dives deep into the power of belief and the darkness behind a convincing story. Let's begin. June 13, 1994, San Antonio, Texas. 13-year-old Nicholas Barclay played basketball with friends. He called his brother for a ride home. His brother said no. Nicholas said he'd walk. That was the last time his family heard from him. Nicholas vanished without a trace. The disappearance shook the community. His family was devastated. They searched everywhere, put up posters, and the police investigated. But there were no clues, no witnesses, no ransom note, no signs of struggle. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months. Hope faded. The family lived in painful uncertainty, haunted by questions. Was he alive? Had he run away? The case grew cold. Nicholas became another face on a missing person poster. Years passed. The posters faded. The police moved on. For most, Nicholas was a memory. For his family, the pain was fresh. They never gave up hope. They kept his room as he left it, praying for his return. Every phone call, every knock on the door could be news. They clung to the slim chance he'd come home. Then, 3 years later, a phone call would change everything. The family's prayers were about to be answered, in the strangest way. The silence was about to break. What happened next would shock everyone. The story was far from over. Nicholas's disappearance was just the beginning. The world was about to meet Nicholas again, but nothing was as it seemed. October 1997. A call from Spain reached the Barclay family in Texas. The caller claimed to be Nicholas Barclay, missing for over 3 years. He said he'd been kidnapped by a trafficking ring, taken to Europe, and abused. Now he'd escaped and was in a Spanish youth shelter. The story was shocking. The authorities contacted the American embassy. The boy seemed traumatized, spoke with a strange accent, but knew family details. It seemed like a miracle. Nicholas had been found. The family was overwhelmed with disbelief and joy. A photo arrived. The boy looked different. Darker hair, different eyes, older. The family dismissed the changes, blaming trauma. Nicholas's sister Carrie flew to Spain for an emotional reunion. She was convinced this was her brother. The U.S. government issued a passport. The embassy believed the story. The tale of kidnapping explained everything. The accent, the appearance, the behavior. No one questioned it deeply. The paperwork was done. The flight was booked. The boy from Spain was officially recognized as Nicholas Barclay. He was coming home to Texas. But the person on that plane was not a scared teenager. He was a master of disguise. The family's hope had blinded them to the truth. The world was about to be fooled. The stage was set for an unbelievable deception. The chameleon was coming home. The reunion in Texas was emotional, tears, hugs, and celebration. The Barclay family welcomed Nicholas back, treating him as the boy who'd left 3 years before. They cooked his favorite foods, shared memories, and tried to make life normal again. But strange details emerged. The boy had brown eyes, not blue, dark hair, not blonde, a thick French accent. The family explained it all away. Trauma, hair dye, years in Europe. Their need to believe was stronger than the evidence. The imposter played his part well, staying in his room, hiding under blankets, claiming the light hurt his eyes. He told harrowing stories of abuse, making the family feel sorry for him and less likely to question. He listened more than he talked, learning about Nicholas from the family's own stories. He used their memories to build his false identity. Despite the family's acceptance, some were suspicious. Teachers noticed he looked older, didn't recognize people he should, but no one wanted to destroy the family's happiness. The strange details were ignored. Nicholas enrolled in high school, lived with the family for months, and the lie worked perfectly. But a deception this big can't last forever. The truth was closing in. The cracks were starting to show. The chameleon's performance was almost flawless, but suspicion was growing. The family's hope was about to collide with reality. The world was watching. The lie was about to unravel. The imposter's time was running out. The truth was waiting. The end was near. The person living as Nicholas Barclay was actually Frédéric Bourdin, a 23-year-old Frenchman. He wasn't a victim of kidnapping, but a serial imposter with a long history of pretending to be missing children. Bourdin, the chameleon, could become anyone he wanted. He'd done this across Europe, but the Barclay case was his boldest deception. Bourdin's troubled childhood left him searching for identity and belonging. He found it by stealing the lives of others. His method was simple. Find a missing child, learn the details, and become that child. He'd call authorities, act scared and alone, and let people fill in the blanks. He was a master actor, crying on command, appearing traumatized. Before Nicholas, he'd assumed dozens of false identities, but this was the first time he'd crossed borders and lived with a family for months. He wasn't just tricking police, he was deceiving a grieving family. Bourdin's greatest role was also his most dangerous. He built his lies from the hopes and memories of others. The chameleon had found his most challenging part yet, but every performance has an ending. The truth was catching up. Bourdin's deception was about to be exposed. The world would soon know who he really was. The mask was slipping. Bourdin's success wasn't luck. It was a calculated performance. He studied human nature, knew what people wanted to hear, and used their emotions against them. From Spain, he researched Nicholas, learning family names and physical details. His story of trauma explained every inconsistency: accent, appearance, behavior. People were afraid to question a boy who'd suffered so much. Bourdin hid in his room, claimed fear, and avoided close scrutiny. He let the family fill in memories, then used them to reinforce his identity. He became a survivor in their eyes, making them even more protective. He controlled the story, and the family's hope did the rest. Bourdin was a careful listener, a patient manipulator. He built a new Nicholas from the family's own memories. The deception was slow, methodical, and devastatingly effective, but even the best lies can't last forever. The lie unraveled thanks to one man, private investigator Charlie Parker. Parker wasn't emotionally involved. He saw the facts. He noticed the imposter's ears didn't match Nicholas's. Ears are unique, like fingerprints. Parker alerted the FBI, who ordered fingerprints and a DNA test. Bourdin knew he couldn't fake science. In February 1998, the results came back. No match. The prints belonged to Frédéric Bourdin, wanted by Interpol. The game was over. Bourdin confessed. The Barclay family and the world were stunned. The miracle was a lie. This story is a powerful lesson in hope, deception, and the human need to believe. The Barclay family's hope blinded them to the truth. Bourdin exploited that hope. Why did so many believe him? What does it say about our ability to see the truth? Would you have seen the lie, or believed the story? The chameleon fooled the world, but the truth always finds a way out. In the end, the greatest deception was not Bourdin's lie, but the hope that made it possible. The story of Nicholas Barclay and Frédéric Bourdin will haunt us, reminding us to question what we want to believe. Sometimes the truth hides in plain sight.